This is chapter 1 of a 10-20 chapter book. This investigation is not over at all. The investigation has just begun. We've interviewed the subject at length. We are still going through an enormous amount of process, accounts. So it would be very early for me to get out ahead of that on motive.
Yes, Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino yesterday. He was at the press conference, and then he appeared on the Sean Hannity program on the Fox News Channel last night. Wait a minute, the investigation's not over? It's just begun? Washington. Be 20 or 30 years, we're going to release the findings of the John F. Kennedy assassination investigation soon. Soon those will be out. And there's some kind of documents involving Jeffrey Epstein, too. We should get those out. A very good and happy American Friday to you. Welcome back once again. We continue to be reached at 888-630-9625. 888-630-9625 is the telephone number here. We've got the capture of the accused pipe bomb. The pipe bomb loon from 5 years ago, darn near 5 years ago, here in Washington, D.C., the pipe bombs at the Democratic National Committee headquarters and the Republican National Committee headquarters here in our nation's capital. And the man arrested, a 30-year-old Brian Cole of Virginia. He's a black man. He's a black man. Got to say, every time you say the name Brian Cole, you got to say out loud, he's a black man. Just to offset the corrupt news media and their filthy, white-hating, even their white people hate white people. Even their Jews hate Jews. It's a self-loathing death cult. But we've got remarkable things going on because of all that. And I want to jump into a bunch of that right now and share some audio with you. Also knowing that today is day 2 of our 2-day fundraiser for the great people at Fisher House. We do this once a year. We call it a Radio-Thon because that's what you call it. It's on the radio, and it's a thon. What is a thon? It doesn't have a G on the end. It's just a thon. But we're taking in great contributions already today, $1,500 from James Powell in Chicago, Illinois, where I'm on the great WLS, the radio station there. Isn't that great? And James Powell, he says, in honor of my father, Jules Ortega, who was a Navy fighter pilot in World War II, a Hellcat pilot, and James Powell says, and in honor of Robert Powell, a B-24 pilot in World War II. I don't know if that's the father of James or the grandfather of James, but I'm guessing a very close relation. Also, we have Norman from Greenbelt, Maryland. Norman contributing $250 in honor of his father, Bill, and Bill was a B-52 guy. Says that Father Bill, in honor, $250 from Norman and Greenbelt to the good people at Fisher House, in honor of his father, Bill, who was an Air Force pilot, and he flew B-52s, the Buffs. You know, it's the Buffs, B-52, your Stratofortress, an amazing airplane. I've never flown on a B-52, not yet. But I've been aboard a couple of B-52s, and I did the flight training, altitude training and all that for B-52s, just in case I had to go up in the B-52s. But that's great stuff. So we have the fundraiser for the great people at Fisher House going on today, yesterday, and today. And the number to contribute to the great Fisher House is 888-294-8560. 888-294-8560. Look, a $5 donation is a wonderful donation. Or $1 million donation means that my best girl and I buy you dinner at one of our favorite neighborhood restaurants at our favorite table. It's a high top. It'll be great. If you don't like the high top, we don't have to do the high top. But, it's a $1 million. If you're a billionaire, it'd be good to give Fisher House $1 million. That'd be a nice thing to do. So we like that. Now let's go back to the press conference and the arrest of Brian Cole, 30-year-old Brian Cole of Virginia, who is black. Let's go to, and I'm going to say that forever, even during the trial. And so I'm going to say every time I mention Brian Cole, I'm going to say who is black. Let's go to Jake Tapper, because Jake Tapper on CNN yesterday They had just learned of the arrest, but they hadn't seen the suspect yet, who had been taken into custody. And Jake Tapper summed it up thusly.
Welcome to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. After nearly 5 years of investigation, the FBI finally announced that they had arrested a suspect.
Finally.
A suspect accused of planting pipe bombs near the Republican and Democratic National Committee headquarters the night before the January 6, 2021 Capitol attack.
The attack.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs, is charged with transporting an explosive device in interstate commerce and with malicious destruction by means of explosion.
What it has to do with commerce, I don't know exactly, but there it is. And he called it the attack on the Capitol. You think he called the 3-day siege of the White House that injured 180 police and set fire to the church of the president's, St. John's Church, 1815 church, historic church. You think he called that an attack? The president and the first family had to be evacuated by the Secret Service from the residence in the White House because of the violent mob of criminals in front of the White House. They were white, and he says, he actually said, almost astonished, finally arrested somebody. Yeah, and he called him a white man. And then moments later, when he was doing that live shot, they showed pictures because they had a reporter reporting on it. Jake Tapper's an old Democrat, Capitol Hill staffer, worked for the lady in the Congress whose son married Chelsea Clinton, who looks just like Webb Hubble, and nobody in their right mind would marry Chelsea Clinton, but never mind that. And he says, finally, and it's true, finally arrested, and they arrested a white man. Why did he say that? Why did he volunteer that out of thin air when he hadn't seen any mugshots? I'm not aware anybody had identified the suspect as white. There were news media outside of his home in Virginia, and the family members came out, and they're black because he's black, but he declared him a white man, and that reminds me of Christopher Wray, the FBI director, who just a year ago was telling us in the news media, telling all the news media, that the biggest threat in the United States is not radical Islam or jihad or left-wing terror groups or Antifa or the firebombing the Jews. Those are not. It's white supremacists, and it's the Democrats firebombing the Jews. They're white, and they're firebombing the Jews. Does that make them Nazis? Well, kind of. Let's go because a couple of years ago, this is 3 years ago now, on MS-13 DNC, they had a communist jihadi anchorman who hates Jews and white people and America and capitalism. His name is Mehdi Hasan. And Mehdi Hasan on his TV show on MS-13 in 2022 talking about the pipe bomber. They were still looking. They hadn't caught because it was Democrats and they love criminals. But here's what Mehdi Hasan said.
You're a black man, I'm a Muslim. When you consider how black criminals and Muslim terrorists are treated, both by the legal system and by the media, and yet the January 6th pipe bomber who laid explosives in front of the RNC and DNC headquarters still walks free. We just learned today that then Vice President-elect Harris was inside the DNC when the bomb was found there. We still don't take domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety seriously in this country, do we?
That's right. The far-right white, extremism? Is that what it is? And Mehdi Hasan, who is going to end up a suicide bomber with a vest that he'll detonate and kill a bunch of Jews somewhere. Just amazing. And they broadcast that. And he knows what the problem is, Mehdi Hasan. And he's talking to a black man. You're a black man. I'm a Muslim. Oh, America, so racist, anti-Muslim. The treatment, the way we're treated as black men and as Muslim. Hey, stop murdering everybody. Quit that whole terrorism thing. Kidnapping, raping, torturing, murdering, tunnel systems, firing on the Jews. Quit the jihad. And then, maybe you won't be stereotyped. For a while there, we stereotyped German people in the 1930s and the 1940s. They haven't acted up much since then. You guys picked up the torch, and it is a torch. Isn't that amazing? Mehdi Hasan.
It's just so depressing, the double standards. I don't know how many times you can draw attention to it. I, as a Muslim, keep drawing attention to it because it kills me.
Yeah, well, no, the suicide bomber will kill you, but words don't kill. Sticks and stones may break your bones. And you guys stone women to death. So keep that in mind, savage. Good Lord. Join us here in the 21st century. The water's fine. America, the coolest, friendliest, most open country in the world. You're the jihadi in the conversation, filthy boy. Unbelievable. The Attorney General of the United States is a white woman. Her name is Pamela Bondi. Yesterday, she held a press conference after a black man was arrested in the bombing plot, the two pipe bombs at the DNC and the RNC 5 years ago, darn near 5 years ago. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Today's arrest happened because the Trump administration has made this case a priority. That evidence has been sitting there collecting dust. This wasn't a new tip. It wasn't some new evidence. It was the hard work of President Trump's administration.
No new evidence, no new tip. But the evidence had been sitting there for nearly 5 years. Next month, on on the 5th of January, that will be the 1 year anniversary of the pipe bomb. The 5 year anniversary of the pipe bomb incident, and it remained unsolved by the. What is the matter? Are they that corrupt, or what is it? The FBI director is Kash Patel. He was at the press conference yesterday, too.
An individual who's now alleged to have placed multiple explosive devices to blow up multiple people and multiple officials, innocent civilians, is now arrested thanks to the brave men and women of the FBI and the interagency.
Man, oh, man. There was no new tip. There was no new witness. There was no new source. They just reviewed the evidence that the Biden and Christopher Wray FBI had in their possession for years, quite literally, and they failed. They should be in gulags, I think, in the Gulag Archipelago. Kash Patel, the FBI director.
We went back and looked at the cell phone tower data dumps. We went back and looked at the providers and what information they provided pursuant to search warrants at the time, and asked questions such as why weren't all the phone numbers scrubbed and why weren't they connected and why wasn't there any geolocational data done? Now, that is either sheer incompetence or complete intentional negligence, and neither of which is acceptable for this FBI.
Sheer incompetence or intentional negligence. And they didn't crack the code. The Trump people, the Kash Patel people came in. They looked at it. Dan Bongino said, even when he was back when he was on the radio, said that he would pay particular attention to this case. And now there is a black man in custody who is black. I just say that because the racists of the racist Democrat racist party keep claiming, we're looking for a white man. And then they capture a white man.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs.
Right. Our media, boy. So what do we make electric chairs for anyway? Good Lord. Do we make electric chairs? Really, not lately. Probably not lately. We should look into that. Maybe I could get into that business. Every state should have an electric chair. We could make new modern ones. It'd be like AI. So then they might survive if they, then I want the one that that produces the ghastly plume out of your head, right? Julius and Ethel Rosenberg. Yeah, the plume of smoke that came from Ethel Rosenberg's head. I still chuckle about that every now and then. Commies, you know how they are. Hey, this Christmas, as we all celebrate life, you have a great opportunity to share that same gift with a mother in need and her baby, her future loving baby. Imagine a young woman facing an unplanned pregnancy and unsure of what to do, insecure, stressed out. She's searching for hope. And that's where preborn ministries come in very, very handy. There's a story of a young woman who was unmarried, and she found out about her pregnancy. And when the angel Gabriel announced that she would conceive by the Holy Spirit, it was quite a shocking moment for that young woman, as you might imagine. Every mother preborn serves faces a moment of decision when she sees her baby in an ultrasound, seeing the little human being clutching and waving, winking and smiling. And in that moment, she has an opportunity to say yes, to make a decision. Preborn's mission is to help that young mother find the courage and support that she needs to make the right decision. This Christmas, for just $28, you can help save a human life. And thanks to a matching grant, a special grant through the end of the year, your gift will be doubled. All right? To donate, all you have to do is dial pound 250. And when prompted, you say the keyword baby. That's dialing pound 250. The keyword is baby. Or you can go to Al Gore's Amazing Internet to preborn.com/plant. That's me. Preborn.com/PLANTE. Yes, sir. Yeah, so why didn't the Democrats find the person that the Republicans found? Explain that. 888-630-9625. And it's Fisher House Day here at the Chris Plant Show as well.
We still don't take domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety seriously in this country, do we?
A very good Friday to you, and welcome back once again. Today is our annual, day 2 of our annual Fisher House fundraising Radio-Thon. And, boy, you guys are kicking some butt. So far, $197,441. Just amazing. And I want to share with you in a couple of minutes a $10,000 donation that we just received. I want to, with a double dog dare you attached, and I want to share that coming up. But right now on the telephone, we have a great representative of the Fisher House, a guest, long-time guest of the Fisher House, Roberta Broomer. Roberta, thank you very much for being here.
You're welcome. And my husband's here with me as well, Warren Broomer.
Warren and Roberta, the Broomers are both here. Thank you so very much for being here.
Hey, thank you, Chris.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. Now, tell me all about your experience with, I'm hearing that Roberta, your father, an Army veteran of the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and found himself and your family in need of a Fisher House. How did that happen?
Well, in 2014, my father was diagnosed with dementia and several other things and needed a place. So we looked for places to put him in the VA hospital in Nashville. And with the Nashville VA, from when he was released, it was about between 30 and 60 days he was released to go to a nursing home. And my request was for the Murfreesboro VA Community Living Center because I'd heard good things about it. Well, there was not an opening at a time, so we had to stay in a couple of other places, nursing homes for him, and I kept pressing for him to go to the Murfreesboro VA. And finally, one day, one of the social workers at one of the clinics he was at, not VA hospitals, but nursing homes, said that they...
Wow, I got to thank you both so very much for your amazing story. Please donate at 888-294-8560. It continues to be Friday here in Washington, D.C. What day is it where you are? I know. A big contribution for our great friends at Fisher House, because the American Legion Post 72 in Warrenton, Virginia, donated, listen now, $10,000 to the Fisher House. Warrenton, Virginia, American Legion. That is spectacular. But it doesn't stop there. Listen to this now. Because the American Legion Post number 72 in Warrenton, Virginia, donated $10,000 American dollars and would like all other American Legion Posts and VFWs, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, to donate as well. Perhaps not everyone can donate $10,000, but very impressive. American Legion 72 in Warrenton, Virginia, $10,000 American dollars. Would like other Legion Posts, American Legion Posts, and Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW Posts, to donate to Fisher House as well. And again, the telephone number to make your contribution is 888-294-8560. 888-294-8560 to make your wonderful and generous contributions. And we're getting contributions. I want to share more names with you coming up as well. We've got people contributing, making now that's a 5-digit contribution, $10,000. But we have great Americans listening to our humble radio program, making 4-digit contributions, 1,000 and up contributions, wonderful stuff. We thus far have, thanks to you, raised $197,441. That's all American money. That's good stuff. And thank you for all that. That makes you great Americans because you're all great Americans. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is. And wonderful contributions from James Powell in Chicago, $1,500. From Norman in Greenbelt in honor of his father, who was a B-52 pilot, a buff pilot, bomber, long-range, nuclear-capable bomber. Wonderful stuff, the B-52s. And let's go. We've got crazy Democrats on the loose, too. And there was because the arrest of a black man by the name of Brian Cole yesterday in the nearly 5-year-old case of 2 pipe bombs being placed in Washington, D.C., one at the Democratic National Committee headquarters, one at the Republican National Committee headquarters. It was the day before the dust-up on Capitol Hill, the mostly peaceful protest at the Capitol, when one young woman was shot and killed mercilessly by a racist U.S. Capitol Police officer, Lieutenant Byrd. Ashley Babbitt was her name, 12 years, honorably served in the U.S. Air Force, only to be gunned down by a trigger-happy racist police officer at the Capitol on January 6th of 2020. That's a long time ago. Coming up on 5 years. Coming up on 5 years of that. Isn't that amazing? 2021. So let's go back to the we had not gotten to the Dan Bongino, the number 5. Let's go to Dan Bongino, deputy FBI director, number 2 at the FBI. Dan Bongino at the press conference yesterday, going back to even when he was hosting a radio show, an excellent radio show, he said that, if he were in a position of authority in the government, that he would focus on solving that crime. And yesterday, a black man named Brian Cole was arrested at his home, where his family, also black, where he lives with his mom, and he works for his dad, who's a bail bondsman, at least part-time, but not full-time. Doesn't want to have a full-time job. Dan Bongino yesterday on what's going on here.
This is chapter 1 of a 10-20-chapter book. This investigation is not over at all. The investigation has just begun. We've interviewed the subject at length. We are still going through an enormous amount of process, accounts. So it would be very early for me to get out ahead of that on motive.
Well, and we've been talking to great Americans here on the radio show today because this is the most democratic form of media in the history of the world. But Mike saying, he's got real questions. Why the charges? Why not a terrorism charge? Why not an attempted mass having? Why not? There are all kinds of obstructing official proceedings with that count going on Capitol Hill. They charged every grandmother that sat down on the grass at the Capitol the next day with a long litany of felonies. And this guy has a couple of charges, but maybe more to come. Dan Bongino saying the investigation is ongoing and there's more to come, and perhaps more charges will be included. The Democrat Party, they're going to look to bury this story because they wanted a white supremacist, Trump-supporting, MAGA hat-wearing criminal that they could, blame the whole country for, every Trump voter for, because that's what the communists do, and then they kill your dog. That's the thing. The U.S. Attorney in Washington, D.C. is Judge Jeanine Pirro. She's a former judge now, but it's still a title that you carry with you. Judge Jeanine Pirro, U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, and she was also at the press conference yesterday.
This case involved millions of pieces of data. And it is a huge win because it was like finding a needle in a haystack.
Needle in a haystack. Millions of pieces of data, and I believe it was Dan Bongino said also 3 million lines. Maybe it was the Attorney General, Pam Bondi. 3 million lines of data that were gone through. Now, one of the things, the Democrats are ridiculous, mental, gender dysphoric, violent, anti-Semitic people. The Democrat Party is the party that gave us the Confederate States of America and the KKK. They're not the good guys. And they've got a Democrat senator in Virginia by the name of Mark Warner. Mark Warner. And Mark Warner, he was on the television. What was he on? CNN? And it was the most ridiculous. When I saw this, I was not drinking any liquid at the time. Otherwise, I would have done a spit take, spitting a spray of water across the room. But here he is. Now, keeping in mind that this happened nearly 5 years ago, right? Nearly 5 years ago. And quite amazing stuff. The Biden administration sat on all of this, and the Christopher Wray, FBI director at the time, going up on Capitol Hill, oh, the biggest threat we face is white supremacists. And the Democrats already declared this guy to be a white guy, right? 3 years ago on MSNBC, they declared they had Mehdi Hassan declared to be a white guy.
We still don't take domestic terrorism of the far-right white variety seriously in this country, do we?
Yeah, that's right. And that's what he said on MS-13 DNC in 2022. And then Jake Tapper just yesterday declared it to be a white guy that had been arrested.
Brian Cole Jr., a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. suburbs.
Right, a 30-year-old white man from the D.C. And Jake Tapper, a black woman from... I guess he's probably a D.C. suburbs guy. He might live in D.C., but I doubt it. Isn't that amazing? The white guy. And then Mark Warner, Democrat Senator Mark Warner, who's a white guy, might be a car bomber because he could be a white supremacist extremist, a danger to our democracy. But Mark Warner, Democrat Senator, he was on with his CNN pals yesterday, and the Republicans arrested him. Joe Biden and his FBI crook director sat on the evidence for 4 full years of the entire administration and didn't lift a finger, didn't examine the evidence. The Attorney General yesterday said there's not a new piece of evidence. There is not a new person that has come forward. We reviewed the evidence that the Biden administration, Christopher Wray, FBI already had in their possession, and we found the guy and we arrested him. And nobody's even denying that it's him, including him, by the way. And here's Democrat Senator Mark Warner just making an embarrassment of himself. He's a clown.
It kind of makes me, looking at this crowd, doing a victory lap when all the senior FBI officials across all key divisions have been fired for political purposes. It's a little rich that they're saying America's safer. How much earlier could we have caught this guy if resources hadn't been diverted?
How much sooner could we have caught this guy if resources hadn't been diverted? Well, this is the administration that actually dedicated resources to finding the person, and they found him. And they keep complaining, why did it take so long? Why did it? Well, because you criminals protected the racist pipe bomb guy for 4 full years, even though, according to the FBI today, run by Republicans, all of the evidence was already in your possession. And they had analysts comb through the evidence already in the file cabinets, and they said, oh, well, this leads us to this guy. Hey, look at the phone records. Look at everything, and it leads us to this guy, and now there's a man under arrest. And this idiot, fraud, clown, Mark Warner, Democrat senator from Virginia. Oh, look at this. Look at this. And they fired people. I guess they fired the right people. Reminds me of the exchange in the movie Apocalypse Now when Colonel Kurtz was accused of killing informants in Saigon because they were involved with terrorism and blowing up Americans. And enemy activity dropped off after Colonel Kurtz assassinated the right people, right? But they got it all wrong, of course, and blamed Colonel Kurtz for being the bad guy. Now the idiot Mark Warner, he's like the idiot in Apocalypse Now, who blames Colonel Kurtz for, firing. They fired all these people for political reasons. Well, if they were fired for political reasons, they fired the right damn people because now they're cracking crimes. See how that works? Cracking cases. Isn't that amazing? And Mark Warner, why didn't the arrest happen sooner? Democrats is the answer. And they fired people for political reasons. Democrats. And then what happened? Started arresting criminals. But you guys are the key criminals. Isn't that amazing? This morning on the television in the 5 a.m. hour on the Fox News Channel, there was a now retired, a former U.S. Secret Service special supervisory agent by the name of Charles Marino, and he was asked about the news that broke yesterday.
I've got to say, this doesn't put the Biden administration's Department of Justice in a very good light here, considering that all of this evidence has been in hand over at the department and at the FBI. What needed to change was the urgency being assigned to the task of solving this crime and providing the resources to get the job done. Apparently, the Trump administration wanted to solve this case, unlike the previous administration.
Wow, this administration wanted to solve the case. The previous administration had all of the evidence that was used that led them to the Brian Cole, who's in custody now. He's a black man, by the way, and isn't that amazing? Now, Charles Marino, Mr. Marino, the U.S. Secret Service special supervisory agent, I thought he was quite strong this morning, making very good points. And the Biden White House for 4 years, they collected all this stuff. They just didn't do anything with it.
These are very well-trained investigators over at the FBI and other federal agencies. They're used to reviewing and assessing data in this way each and every day in numerous cases. So I'm wondering if there was some type of pressure by the Biden administration to not make this case a priority. And the reason is politics. Is this individual going to be connected, as we hear reports are saying, to a left-wing radicalized group like Antifa?
Oh, well, that'd be a real shock, wouldn't it? Yeah. He's been involved in defending illegal aliens in the United States. He's a Democrat. He's a criminal. But I repeat myself. From holiday hosting to unforgettable, beautiful, wonderful gifts, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience. And right now, during their Sizzle All the Way sale, you can save 50% off, half off the entire website at omahasteaks.com. And because you and I hang out together, you get another $35 off with the promo code PLANT when you check out online. My best girl and I, we love the filet mignons. Night before last, we shared one of the filet mignons, skillet cooked. It was beautiful. My grandfather's skillet, an antique skillet. It's a beauty. Omaha Steaks offers unrivaled quality and variety, and every bite is backed by their 100% guarantee. Every steak is perfectly aged to maximize tenderness and then hand-cut by master butchers in America's heartland. They also carry mouth-watering burgers and chicken and pork and seafood and all kinds of delicious desserts. Right now, you save big on gourmet gifts for family and coworkers and neighbors and friends. And, for more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks, just visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off the entire website during their Sizzle All the Way sale. And for an extra $35 off, use the promo code MyLastName at Plant at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com. Plant is the secret code. Terms apply. See the site for details. Yes, sir. All right, and it is, what is it? Fisher House Day here on the Chris Plank Show. Today is, of course, Fisher House. It is our Fisher House Day. And the telephone number to contribute is 888-294-8560. You, our beloved listeners, have thus far contributed $207,574. $207,574. Not so shabby, I got to say. Pretty good. I'm still looking for that $1 million donor, but that's a good one. And we have on the line, standing by right now, we have Cassandra Webb. Cassandra, You're on the Chris Plank
Hello,
Show.
Good morning.
Hi there. Good morning to you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for being here. Now, you are a board member of the Little Rock, Arkansas Fisher House Community Group. And tell me how that came about, Cassandra.
Yeah, so I'm a former TV news anchor in Little Rock, and I have a personal connection to Fisher House, and did a story with them, trying to get them some coverage when the Fisher House was coming to Arkansas. And through that connection that I made with them, they asked me to be on the board, and here I am.
And here you are. And isn't that wonderful? Well, tell me about your experience with your many experiences. I can't do all of them probably, but a couple of highlights perhaps, Cassandra.
Well, my personal connection to Fisher House started in 2010 when my father, who was an Air Force veteran, was suffering from a very lengthy illness. And this is in Texas. My mother, who was also an Air Force veteran, was, sleeping in hospital rooms. And this was, when I say a lengthy illness, I mean a year and a half. Going back and forth, 3 hours from her home to the hospital at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio. And it really, really took its toll on my mother, obviously, and it was very, very expensive as well. And then when she discovered Fisher House at Lackland Air Force Base, it was like she could take a breath and really relax. And of course, the savings as well from not having to spend money on a hotel. And that was just really a home away from home for her. It was very comforting. She found a community there. And sadly, my father never made it home. But during that time, she had a nice, warm, comfortable place to stay. And we are forever grateful for Fisher House for that experience. And
it's so wonderful, the Fisher family, and I've worked, and I'm sure you have too, with several members of the Fisher family, and they're just an extraordinary family. They of course, bought and own the Intrepid aircraft carrier in New York, which people go and visit, and all the great airplanes on that. They love America and our military. And there's a gap there where the VA and the government doesn't take care of our people and military families. And the Fisher House saw the need, and they said, well, we can do that. We've been very successful. We're very grateful. And the wonderful Fisher family has stepped in. They've done such extraordinary, extraordinary work. They really have. Cassandra Webb, thank you very much.